Hey everybody, I'm here with Dr. Tom Hawks. He's one of our professors here at BTS and actually a longtime friend of mine. Tom, would love to hear what are you doing right now as far as ministry?
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I'm planting a church in Fernandina Beach, Florida, with the ARP, Associate Reformed Presbyterian Church. I also serve for Florida as the director of church planting for the state. That's our presbytery. And do some work with a denomination with our headquarters as well nationally, helping with church planting.
That's fantastic. Now, you also teach for BTS, which is great. What do you teach with BTS? How do you help and interact with BTS?
Yeah, I'm primarily teaching in the area of church planting, some leadership, pastoral development, also coaching, how to coach other church planters. So several courses, mostly in the church planting area.
Yeah, that's great. Now, as you've been teaching with BTS and interacting with our students a little bit, what has your overall impression been of, the seminary, the kind of students that you're interacting with? What's your relationship with them been like that?
Yeah. I've probably taught about 6 or 7 seminaries in the U.S. and other countries, and I've been very surprised and very impressed with the quality of the student that we are getting at BTS. Because a number of them are already in ministry, they're coming at the classes with a sort of a much more sophisticated question and looking for answers that they can apply on a daily basis, which I think is really important in seminary education, to have someplace to apply what you're hearing in class day by day.
Yeah.
So the pastoral experience, the dedication, but also just honestly, just the raw intelligence. I don't know what we're doing in recruitment, but we're getting really a fabulous student that I'm really excited to work with.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, I know we have a lot of students that take classes online. They may not be sitting there. Do you feel like, even on the professor level, that there is good interaction between professors and students and students? Like, how does that look?
Yeah, I was really skeptical because I've always been a classroom teacher, and I love the give and take. So I thought, well, when we go to the video class, that's not going to happen. But I've been really surprised, even in classes with 10 or 12, 15 students, the quality of the interaction has been excellent. Of course, it's much easier for everyone. They don't have to fly or drive someplace.
Yeah.
So I've been surprised and pleased with the quality of the interaction. Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because I know we have a lot of students that, you might be one right now, who's considering BTS, and you're wondering, how does this whole seminary thing work if I'm actually not there in the brick and mortar building? Is it going to feel like a seminary class? Am I going to be able to interact with my students, my fellow students, with my professors? And that's encouraging to hear that you've taught, and even I went to a traditional brick and mortar seminary as well, that you're not really losing anything in that process. You're still getting a lot of good interaction, but you also don't have to move and go through all of that process to relocate your life, that you can get trained right where you are. I hope that that's a big encouragement to some of our students who are considering it. And just one other question that I had is, if you had a student that was considering taking classes at BTS and starting up with us, like what advice, what direction would you give them, encouragement that you would give them as far as starting up with BTS?
So, not surprisingly, I'm very favorable about that.
Right.
I think there are a lot of reasons. I mean, definitely the cost is a factor.
Yes.
It's you don't want to get out of seminary and have tens of thousands of dollars in debt, and so with BTS, it's really possible to get through with little or no debt at all. So that's not an insignificant factor when you're going into ministry. But I'd say the quality of your fellow students, as I mentioned before, is significant, and so you're going to have great iron sharpening iron in the midst of the classroom, even online, the online setting. But the quality of the professors, others, not me so much, but others have been very impressed at the faculty that you've got there. But the idea of being educated while you're staying in your ministry, we have to understand that the history of ministry development favors that as a model. The Log College, the precursor to Princeton Seminary, was built around that idea that it's best to stay in ministry, be mentored by a pastor, and get the content in that setting. So you guys are building on one of the most effective models for seminary education that's ever been. So it's not actually a disadvantage, it's a huge advantage to be able to stay in your current ministry, whatever kind it is, and then in that ministry context, have the input from these professors and other students from all over the country, all over the world, to help you minister better in that setting.
Yeah.
And it's just a much more effective way to do seminary education.
Yeah, that's super helpful, because I know for me, as I'm talking with prospective students, we have a lot of students that say, look, I love where I live. I love my current church setting. We
Yep.
have friends. I have a life. You know, I don't want to, you know, uproot my family and all of my friendships and all this time and effort that I've spent pouring into this community. I don't want to uproot all of that. I would rather just learn while I sit here and continue to minister in this town. And more, I'm really encouraged by our students who are wanting to stay put in those small towns, in those communities that they love, serve a local church that might not have a seminary down the street.
That's right.
And I'm actually finding that they're getting 10 times more out of it, more opportunities to preach and teach and serve and test those gifts, and not having to completely uproot everything and then start all over again. And so that's a wonderful encouragement,
Yes.
which is fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's the way to go.
Yeah, well, thanks. Well, thank you so much for taking a couple minutes to talk with us, and really appreciate your work here with BTS and your ministry with the ARP, and look forward to spending a lot of time with you in the future.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Thanks,
Thank you
Tom.
all.